In this video, I discover the interior design styles of all 9 Enneagram types, and I'm going to share those findings with you. I know I'm not the only one who is obsessed with interior decorating and making your house a home. To get an idea of what each type's kind of homey style is, I did a little research. First, I made a Google form to collect some data, and then I posted that form on YouTube and Instagram, and you guys showed up. We got 659 responses, so I took those, imported them into Excel spreadsheets. I organized each spreadsheet by each type, and then I started looking at trends, and I made pie charts to see which interior design style each type was gravitating the most to. And this video would not be possible without the sponsor of today's video, Havenly. If you followed me for a while, you know John and I got married last June, and we moved into this apartment and merged our separate styles into one. But we didn't really have the headspace to decorate our bedroom. You know, it was simple. There was a bed and a dresser and one lamp. It didn't give off the serene boho vibes that we would like for our first bedroom as a married couple. That's when we discovered Havenly. They are an online interior design service for any space on any budget. You get to work with a certified interior designer who walks you through the process of defining your style and then picking out the right pieces that fit the measurements of your space. And then they deliver you this beautiful rendering of what your after bedroom or living room or whatever room you choose to do will look like. So we decided to go with the theme serene green, and this isn't like a Havenly term, it was the term that me and my interior designer came up with. But we really wanted to give our room like a restful feel while still adding pops of beautiful green to revamp the plain kind of blahness of the walls. And yes, we are renting and we can't paint. I think my favorite part of the room is the window treatment. It's always been whatever ugly thing the landlord put in, and so we got rid of those ugly white blinds, and oh my gosh, it made such a difference. I feel like our room is a resort. If you want to revamp a room in your house, you can use my code AbbeyH for 25% off a mini or a full design package. Now, I hope I've gotten you in the mood to talk home decor, because it's time to dive into the interior design styles of all 9 Enneagram types. Let's start with Enneagram Type 1. Some of the questions I asked in the Google form were to determine if you preferred more minimal styles versus maximal styles. Type 1s were overwhelmingly minimalist. They said they want streamlined and straight rather than decorative and curvy. They don't like filling their bookshelves with lots of objects and accessories and books. They want it to be clean and simple. Plus, most of you resonated with the phrase, less is always more. You picked living rooms and bedrooms that featured white surfaces, sleek furniture, and clean lines. So I am assigning the minimalist interior design style to Enneagram Type 1s. Minimalist design is stark, clean, and simple. The goal is to create a simpler life by having an uncluttered space that only holds the things that you really love. Set aside the stereotype that all Type 1s are super organized and clean. Beyond that, I think minimalism fits Type 1s because Type 1s are all about the essentials. Reformers strive to improve themselves and the world around them. They long for goodness and virtue to be the driving force in their lives. If your mind or your space is overly decorated and cluttered, it's hard to focus on the things that really matter. Minimalism gives you the ability to think and breathe in your space without having to worry about dusting the 14 vintage vases that you found at the thrift store. Let's talk about Enneagram Type 2s. Contrary to Type 1s, Type 2s are all about maximalism. I think your phrase is probably yes. And when I asked which of these descriptions are the closest to your interior design style, 41.3% said traditional, warm, inviting, and sophisticated. Knowing what we know about Type 2s, are we really surprised? Are we? Enneagram 2s prioritize relationships and hospitality. They desire to be loved and appreciated, and they pursue that desire by opening up their hearts and their homes for everybody else in their lives. So I am assigning the traditional style to Type 2s. Traditional is one of the most popular styles used to decorate homes, and it borrows inspiration from past eras does, which gives the feeling of a warm and elegant oasis. You can tell if something is traditional if it feels like a more modern version of Downton Abbey. Think antique tea sets, crystal chandeliers, and oil paintings. Home is incredibly important to type 2s, so it makes sense to me that they would gravitate towards this time-tested style that makes you want to curl up in a wingback chair with a cup of warm tea. Now it's time for my Enneagram number. Type 3. Type 3s were a little all over the map with their answers, so I struggled with this one, but I looked for the through lines of each question, and what I found was contemporary style was the most repeated one. But know that type 3s gave a lot of answers, a lot of different answers, and mid-century modern came up right behind contemporary, which actually is one of my personal favorite styles. Contemporary can be described as future-forward style. There's no pining over the past with grandma's china cabinet or a 1930s coffee table. You won't find anything too feminine or decorative. It has a neutral color palette with an occasional pop of color. Achievers are forward-thinking, goal-oriented people. They like to stay relevant and modern, just like contemporary style. But I wouldn't think of contemporary style as something that is fickle or trendy. Instead, think about it as something that is sleek, casual, and clutter-free. I think this fits a type 3's vibe because we are all about efficiency. Get it done, make it functional, make it classy, and then move on. Now let's dive into the interior design style of Enneagram Type 4s. Yeah, so you guys do not gravitate towards minimalistic styles. 86.7% of Type 4s polled indicated that they preferred more decorative and sentimental styles. So, based on your overwhelmingly boho answers, I have to assign Type 4s bohemian style. Y'all loved this living room with its hanging plants and global patterns and rugs and upholstery and of course a little cat in the corner, because obviously. You can describe bohemian style as flowy, easy, and creative. There's no strict rules about what you can and cannot do. It feels unique, inviting, and full of life. Kind of like Enneagram 4s. To be honest, I was not surprised at all by this outcome. Bohemian style is incredibly artistic and Type 4s radiate creativity. They use their unique ability to see beauty and pain in the world to express themselves. So why wouldn't their home decor style reflect their longing to show their unique and authentic self? Time for Enneagram 5s. Similar to Type 3s, Type 5's answers were all over the map in the Google form. There were a lot of industrial, rustic, and Zen answers, which for me feel like very different types of styles. So to be honest, I was like, oh, you're giving me a challenge. But ultimately, I chose Zen as the Type 5 style because I felt that it fit the best. Zen style is described as nature meeting design. It has heavy Japanese influences with an emphasis on balance, harmony, and relaxation. You could tell a style is Zen if there are indoor houseplants, monochromatic color palettes, and natural materials like wood and linen. It's different from minimalism because it focuses more on warmth and natural materials. Type 5s view their home as their haven. They need a calm, welcoming environment to recharge their inner resources. Like most introverts, their home is their happy place. Having a decor style that encourages harmony and relaxation is the perfect way to recharge from a day of coworkers and people and expectations and just lots of stuff coming in. That's why I felt like Zen was a really good interior design style for Type 5s. Enneagram 6. It's your turn. In your responses, you scored really high in 2 styles, and both of those styles are solid, masculine, and reliable, and those are industrial and mid-century modern. So I picked the highest scoring style, and it is, drumroll please, industrial. You guys are courageous, hardworking, and faithful. It makes sense to me that 6s gravitate towards fuss-free decor that takes inspirations from the loftiness of warehouses and factories. You can recognize industrial style by a raw, unfinished look with exposed bricks, metal chairs, subway tiles, and everything DIY. It's both utilitarian and hip, making it a really good environment for loyalists who love to work hard and play hard. Now let's chat Enneagram 7s. Your answers really surprised me because you scored really high in both Scandinavian and Bohemian style. And if you guys know the style wheel, you'll know that they're, it's like the color wheel. Bohemian and Scandinavian are like polar opposites. One is extravagant and the other is scaled back. One is maximal and the other is minimal. I guess with type 7s, the type who refuses to be trapped or deprived, you can't expect them to stick to one interior design style. You can't. They want the world. So because we already went over bohemian style with type 4, I am going to assign Scandinavian style to type 7s. But please note that I think bohemian fits type 7s really well, especially because they love travel, culture, and variety. However, I think that type 7s could benefit having a functional and minimal design style like Scandinavian. You can describe this style as bright, nature-loving, and wintry comfort. This looks like light woods like maple and birch, faux fur, candles, and clean lines. This is a style for someone who is always outdoors. They want to bring the beauty of nature into their home where they can recharge before bursting back into the world to explore. Type 7's desire to be happy and satisfied. Underneath that desire is a longing to be taken care of. So I encourage type 7s to design a home that takes care of you. A home that welcomes the sun, adds a few pops of color for happiness, and creates a comforting space to rest. Let's talk about type 8s. Your answers lean towards a style that is sexy, strong, and a little bit retro. Yep, type 8s are mid-century modern. Think Mad Men and West Elm blurred together. Mid-century modern can be characterized by warm wood finishes, geometric patterns, and low and long dressers. There will always be a bar cart and all the materials to make the perfect old-fashioned. Mid-century style celebrates functional, sculptural, and fearless decisions. So I think it's the perfect fit for the type that powers through their lives with the goal of protecting themselves and their loved ones. Type 8s appreciate strength and boldness, both of which are exemplified in the mid-century modern design style. And last but never least, type 9s. 9s were actually the largest sample size of all the types with 121 responses. Way to go, 9s. Your answers were overwhelmingly conclusive. Like more than any other type, it was like I was like, oh, this is obviously this. You preferred this bedroom by 31.7%. You preferred this living room by 27.7%. And you preferred the description of this style by 55.5%. Yes, my friends, type 9s are the rustic style. You live by the phrase, home is a vacation. It should be a cozy, laid back, and comfortable place to relax. Rustic style is characterized by beautiful aged furniture, cozy sofas, and copper accents. It's very country in look and feel in that it prefers simplicity. Type 9s desire inner peace. They want their surroundings to radiate the calm that they crave in their inner world. So it makes sense to me that type 9s resonate with a style that is always cozy and laid back. It doesn't add stress to your life. In fact, it does the opposite. It actively encourages unplugging and relaxing. I want you to share your Enneagram type and your preferred interior design style in the comments down below. If you want to explore your style more and start implementing it into your home, use my code AbbeyH for 25% off a mini or full interior design package with Havenly. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.